All right, this is Brother Outlaw again back, part two of my video about the veil. Um, there to continue on the veil with everything that's going on with what I mean by the veil, continuing on about the veil lifting. They like in the last part where I spoke about how people were opening up boxes because they were sold on eBay. These boxes covered in candle wax or whatever. There were people who were buying these things and things were happening. Some people say there weren't things happening, but some people saying there are things happening. But with the veil lifting, this also means that there will be more and more and more people who are possessed, who don't know they're possessed, and they're going to be doing things that they normally wouldn't do. And this is going to be done through drugs. This is going to be done through alcohol. This is going to be done as through manipulation because people could be mentally manipulated to be opened up to deal with dark spirits to invade people's minds. I mentioned beforehand watching the Deliverance from Evil. People really should watch that movie. And what you all have to be prepared for is that with all this that's going on, you have to realize that this isn't a game. This is real life, and that these things are latching themselves onto people to make them do things. And some people may not know that they're possessed. Stop, Alicia. Some people may not know that they're possessed, and people have to come to the Most High and realize and come together and realize that this isn't a game. That if we take the time to read Revelations, we will see how the process is really happening. There are things and I can understand why some people may not want to read Revelations because Revelations is straight to the point about what is going to happen, and these things it's not going to be it's not going to be funny because you're talking about the dead will rise, beasts will walk the earth, and if I did mention in my last video about people seeing creatures and stuff, there are videos about people posting videos about creatures that people can't explain or what's going on, or what these things are. So we have to understand that these beasts, which I believe are creatures that were created by the fallen angels, they're coming back, just like about the giants they're coming back as well because they found the bones of a lot of these giants, and yet some of these things are still alive and they're in hiding. So about that video about the guys who the special forces who killed a giant, that's not a lie and it's not made up. There are giants that are still alive and are in hiding, and these people know where they are. Now, mind you, this this thing about the veil lifting, this is more and more of an opportunity for these dark spirits to gain control, and gain control of people and do more heinous things to people of this world. But also, the one thing that I have to mention is that, and I know somebody would say that, well, we don't wrestle with, flesh and blood. We wrestle with principalities and high places. One thing you need to be certain that you need to know and understand is this. These principalities have the ability and have been doing so for a long time, taking control of other people and making them do things that they would not normally do. This is real life. We may not be able to physically wrestle with these things yet because the veil hasn't lifted enough to the point where they can reach out and touch you. And that is going to happen. That is going to happen, and it's real. But at the end of the day, even though it's spoken about in the Bible, we do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but we wrestle with principalities and high places. These principalities have the ability to take control of people, physically take control of people, and make them physically do things. That's why we think about the mass shootings and other destructive crimes that are happening out in this world. You have to understand that if we are to face these things, of course, number one, we have to have God in our mind, in our homes, and in our hearts. But at the same time, if the Bible is described about there are people who were for the Most High and they were physically doing things to protect people, we also have to take into the consideration that these principalities do and have taken control of people to do horrific things. You have to understand that. You have to take that into consideration. And that's not to go against anybody, but that is to make an understanding of what is to come. Because until they don't need people to take control of, and when they don't, that's when things will get very weird and crazy, because that's when you're going to see something that looks like it came out of a movie. And that's what these movies are describing of what is to come. Not exactly as it's shown in the movies, but in that certain way. I mean, if you think about it, all these movies about a beam of light, or a beam of light shooting into the sky and things are coming out, you might want to take heed to that. You might want to take heed to that. But the thing is, we have to understand that as the veil is lifting, this is more of an opportunity not only for information, data, to come out and people to understand what's going on in the world, but that's also the understanding of that there is going to be more demonic activity. And these demonic activities are going to be coming into people's homes, coming after your children, coming after you, coming after everybody, to find who they can take control of and who they can destroy. Because this isn't a game. Even though we do not wrestle with flesh and blood, they will take control of somebody who is of flesh and blood and make them do something. This has happened many times over. There are cultures all around the world who have dealt with demonic spirits. And this isn't a game. We have to understand that as time is going on, this is only going to get worse. And as more and more things tend to happen, people are going to have to get into their really look within and understand that this is what we're here to deal with. This is what we're going to deal with before the Most High shows up. So as if everybody may believe that, hey, or not, people do believe that, yeah, the Most High is coming back. You have to understand that first off, this is a process. That means we're going to deal with a lot of crap before the Most High returns. We're going to see the Antichrist before the Most High returns. We're going to see beasts walking the earth. We're going to see the dead rising. This is in Revelations. The Revelations might be a little scary for some people to read because it's straight to the point and it's straight out of a sci-fi movie. But this is real. Because if we believe that the Nephilim and the fallen angels are real, then we should believe that the things that have been put in movies, certain things, and not to say what those things are in the movie, but the aspect, the understanding that this is real and we're going to see this stuff. We're going to see some very strange things. And I would believe that some people who are kind of fans of those fantasy type movies of, like, say, Narnia, Lord of the Rings, and, Harry Potter, it might be a little bit easier for people like that to understand because, well, they've been fans of it. So it makes it easier for them to kind of take in and be like, oh, okay. But at the same time, it's not a video game and it's not a movie. This is real life. We need to understand that with this veil lifting, there's going to be more crimes that's committed on a demonic level. The influence of society through media, through shows, through music, through television, this stuff is only coming to terraform the world to make it more hospitable for dark energy. Well, not really dark energy, but dark spirits, demonic spirits. And as time goes on, this is only going to, and I'm repeating myself, but to make it worse for us, but better for them. They're creating the world in the home, and it's like, say, like Stranger Things, the upside down world. The upside down world is basically hell itself. The Demogorgon from Stranger Things. Think about that. That creature's practically a demon. It would cross the veil because it's kind of like, even like the movie Mortal Kombat. Outworld and the world of humans, they battle to either take control of the world, the humanity's world, or keep Outworld from coming off. Because in the old Mortal Kombat, like Mortal Kombat 2, the rules were broken and Outworld and our world started to merge. That is what I mean by the veil lifting. Truthfully, that is really what it boils down to. And we are going to see and deal with things that we would not see on a regular basis, but at some point in time, it would be normal. And we've been portrayed for years. It has been portrayed for years about the days, the dark days of when demons and creatures will walk the earth, because it's going to get to a point that one day they will be able to reach out and touch you. And we have to get it into our heads that about what's going on and what we have to be prepared for, because all the information that's coming out that the people are trying to put out, but also the fact that the ones in control are deliberately showing themselves to say, we're here and we're doing this and we're going to do that and you can't do nothing about it. That's how it's being portrayed, and they're making sure that they have a device that will open up the doorway. Think about that. And it could possibly be like a beam of light, and out of that doorway, you're going to see something that reminds you from Suicide Squad, from Avengers. You get what I'm saying? There's a trend going on with movies like that. We're going to see things, and we have to be prepared. We have to get girded up. We have to be prepared for what's to come. This is not just going to be where you pray something away. You may have to actually physically push something away. This is why I say that, yes, it's spoken about that we do not wrestle with flesh and blood, but with principalities and high places. Remember, these principalities can take control of people and make them do things. You get what I'm saying? And at some point in time, if I remember right from Revelations, it's going to get to a point where they can physically reach out and touch you. And when that time happens, what are you going to do? And this is a hard pill to swallow. This is a hard thing to take in, because this is the reality that we are walking into. This is the reality that all of us who have children, we have to raise our children up to be ready to deal with. Prayerfully, my children won't have to deal with this. You know, I'd rather fight the fight to keep them safe. And from what it looks like, you know, my days of Iraq are coming back to protect my family. And this is not a game. The veil that is lifting, the veil that is opening up is like a doorway. It's like a sheet that is slowly, like an invisible sheet that when it lifts up, it's like, say if there's a spirit sitting out in front of you, as it lifts up slowly, you start to see legs, kneecaps, thighs, hips, shoulders, stomach, chest, and it's like, whoa, hold up. You want this to come back down. You don't see, that wasn't there before, but like I said, it goes from feet, ankles, shins, kneecaps, thighs, hips, stomach, chest, arms, shoulder, and it's a head. And it's like, whoa, hold on. Because at the end of the day, that's what's coming. And we have to be prepared, not only for the Most High's return, but for what the tribulations that haven't started yet that we're going to deal with, and other things. With this veil that's lifting, this only means one thing, and that, of course, it's a sign that says the Most High is going to come back, but this is also the sign that we're about to deal with some things that we would have thought was only in a movie. But the thing is, the movies are portraying what is to come. The movies aren't playing exactly, they're just portraying in an aspect of what is to come. So these days, these dark days are ahead of us. This veil that is lifting slowly but surely, because there are videos that are out where people are seeing things and they're recording them on their phone, and it's like, hey, and they're on CCTV or security TV, where people are actually seeing people being attacked by spirits. There is a video of a guy who was knocked on his back and he was dragged down the hallway. Another woman was watching stuff getting thrown all around her in a restaurant. I think it was a restaurant. And when she tried to run, she got knocked unconscious. As time goes on, they're slowly but surely building up the strength to physically attack people. Like I said, there was a video that happened beforehand where the guy was recording something and some black figure in his window, and it jumped out and it knocked the blinds out of the way and disappeared underneath his bed. This stuff is slowly happening, is building up slowly but surely. The possession rate is slowly building up. And right now, they're not talking about it, but it is happening. And eventually, it's going to become mainstream about spiritual about the spiritual warfare becoming physical. Like I said, this isn't a game. The Most High's had people who physically was out there fighting. Not just healing, not just helping, but also fighting. So at the end of the day, the Most High is going to have people who are going to be out there not just to heal, not just to help, not just to teach, but also to stand up and fight for what's right. And we have to get it in our heads that if we really want to be about this, we have to understand the repercussions or the consequences or the circumstances for what's to come. So I thank the Most High for, sending me, giving me the training. But at the same time, that isn't the only thing that I needed. I needed to be able to have a relationship. I needed to have an understanding of what's to come, because this training doesn't mean it's everything. It isn't. It's just one aspect. I needed a whole lot more, and I'm glad the Most High gave me time to have more and get more of what's and to understand, have the understanding of what is to come. So at the end of the day, we need to be prepared in every way that we can and come together and be prepared for the days to be very, very horrible. Because if we don't take the time to understand, you're lost. And I'm not saying it to be crude or mean, because that's just the reality of it. You know, we have to take the time to understand what's going on. You know, that's just like, I seen a video of a preacher, a street preacher, going out telling people that, a lot of these young ladies and these guys, what they're doing is wrong. But the thing is, if you don't have the details of why it's wrong and the details from the beginning and how it got to where it is now, people are going to look at you and be like, "Oh, you're wrong." And you are right for what you're saying, but if you have to have the explanations or the examples of why things are the way they are, because it's just all the manipulation. TV, music, and stuff are used in a manipulative manner, and even as advertisement are used in a manner to draw people in, to make what wasn't normal to be normal. And if we don't see the devil in the details, it'd be hard to be able to explain how and why something is wrong. To tell someone that they're wrong is almost wrong in its own way, because you got to explain. How else are you going to be able to get someone to understand why certain things aren't the way that they are? So for me, I want to explain that the manipulation from TV shows, movies, music, so on and so forth, and advertisement have been used in a manner to slowly build people into a point where they want things to be normal for you, because that's how they want things to be. So when this veil slowly opens, or as it finally opens wide up, people are going to accept it and be like, "Oh, okay." And then think like it's okay when it's really not. When it's truthfully not. This is not going to be for anyone's benefit except for the adversary and his little minions and assistants that help get it to that direction. So I'm here to say that the veil is lifting and has been. So when you start hearing more and more and seeing more and more videos about either being someone saying that when they committed a crime or they was hurting and killing someone, they say, "Oh, a voice told me to do it," is because they were a demonic spirit or spirits got to that person and influenced or messed with that person's head so bad that they could only way to make they felt like to make a stop was they had to do what they were told to do. So when you start seeing and hearing more about this stuff, it's not really new. It's just that it's just not mainstream yet. Like they're trying to make mainstream about UFOs and everything. This isn't mainstream. This is mainstream to some people, but this isn't mainstream where it's out in the public's eye, but it will be. And it's getting to that point. So we have to be prepared, and we have to come together now more than ever to understand and have a true and real relationship with the Most High, and an understanding with the Most High about what is to come, so we can stand strong and what's to come. Because if we don't, we will be lost and we will be torn to shreds by these disgusting creatures and people. So this is Brother Outlaw to let you all know to be girded up, to be prayed up, to get for people to get together. Even find me if you can, and we can talk and we can collab. We can get prepared for what is to come, because this isn't a game. This is real life. This isn't a movie. This isn't a TV show. This is real life, and these are things that will happen. We will see these things. I'm only 36 years old, and we will see some stuff. I know I'm going to see some stuff. You know, like I say, just be ready and be blessed.